Hello everybody, how are you doing? Today we are going to draw, finally, because we never draw anymore on this channel. Have we ever actually drawn a lot? It doesn't matter because today we are. So, let me quickly tell you about what are we going to do. A couple of artsy friends and I are doing this. I wouldn't call it a challenge because it's not exactly challenging, but we have a thing where we've decided that we give ourselves a topic and we draw something connected to that topic and we post it on social media and we tag it with the hashtag we draw more together, because we do. So far we've only done one theme. It was a cactus. Not that much going on yet on this hashtag, but we're working on it. Our second theme happened to be a cover, and the cover is lavender because it's spring. Actually, there's no reason. We just voted on it and lavender got the most votes, so that's it. We are very democratic about our themes. By the way, this hashtag is open. If you want to draw with us, if you want to join our teams, very welcome to do so. I'm going to link all of our Instagrams down below on the screen, wherever links and things go, so you can check it out, join us, tag us, whatever works for you. But today we are going to work on my interpretation of the lavender theme. So I have this old illustration of mine that is very purple, you could say lavender-ish, color scheme wise. And I drew it exactly 10 years ago in 2009, and I wanted to redraw it for a while as a draw this again challenge. It's always weird to say challenge because is it really a challenge? And I'm going to use it for both of those things. And so in this video, I want to show you the whole process of how I'm going to create this illustration. First of all, we are going to look at my old illustration, we're going to talk about it, we're going to analyze it, see what I like or don't like about it, figure out how to make it better, and then make it better. So let's get into it. I have it here on my screen and you're going to have it there on your screen, and let's talk about it. So first of all, a little bit of background what this is. It's one of the first illustrations that I made in Adobe Illustrator that I was actually happy with. Back in the day, I really wanted to learn Illustrator, and it was very frustrating. I hated the experience so much, but I loved how things looked in Illustrator. I loved the sharpness and the crispness, and I just wanted to be able to work in that program. So I stuck with it, and these days that's pretty much all I'm using for the most part, and I'm loving it because Illustrator is great. Back in the day, in 2009, I barely had any idea what the hell I was doing. But with this one, I didn't do so bad, I don't think so. It makes me worry a little bit looking at it because this was done 10 years ago and I don't really hate it. So does that mean that I didn't progress and I'm too stuck in my ways? I don't know. I don't love it. It's not an amazing illustration, but it's not that bad. For the level of skill I had at the time, I did good. But anyway, let's pull it apart a little bit. Something that strikes you right away is that I've only used purple, so it's kind of monochromatic. Not really, because there are different shades of purple, but it's just very purple. And I kind of feel like that's a bit boring. So, oh yeah, the idea behind it was that this is kind of supposed to represent inspiration, and the inspiration is purple, if you must know. So she's also an artist, as you can see. She has a giant brush that is as big as her head, which kind of makes me think of her as more of a painter, as in somebody who paints walls in colors, not the person who makes paintings. So that would be something that I would want to fix. I want her to be an artist and not a painter. Nothing against painters, they're great, but not the subject of this illustration. So I would like to expand a little bit more on the color scheme. The theme for our challenge, I don't know what to call it. It's drawing. It's not a competition. Okay, let's just call it a challenge because it's a word that we can use. And let's not make a thing out of whether it is actually challenging, because yeah, it's not. What was I saying? So yeah, I would like to expand more on the color theme. There's going to be lavender, and that has to be the main color or the color focus, because that's the theme, and I think I'm going to keep it in her hair. But I want to sprinkle a bunch more colors in there, because I love me some color combinations and limited palettes and that sort of thing. So a color that I would like to use is some kind of pale green, maybe, yeah, I don't know exactly what to call it, but some sort of green, because I think it's going to make it a bit more fresh, bring that lavenderiness. I don't want to draw any actual lavenders because that's kind of lazy. Another color that I would really love to see there is maybe pale yellow or some sort of yellow, because yellow and purple, they're complementary, which means they look really good together, and I also just really like that combination. So that's something we're going to work on. Maybe tiny little drop of pinkish purple. I'm not so sure about it. I just kind of want to warm up her skin tone a little bit, maybe make it a little more human. We'll see. Another thing, I probably will shorten her hair, because I'm into shorter hairs these days. They're also more in style right now. I don't know, are they? But anyway, I want a shorter hair for her. Also, I'm going to make the new illustration in more of a shoulder portrait. Is that a thing you say? Because I don't really think we need her butt. I have no problem with her butt, but it really adds nothing to it. Yeah, by the way, looking at her butt reminds me, in this period of time, I used to elongate the torso for some reason. I don't think it was a conscious choice. I think that I just didn't know anatomy that well. I mean, it works alright for her, but anyway, that's not going to be relevant because we are only going to draw her till here, you know, something like that, whatever. Yeah, what else? As I said, I want to make that brush shorter, maybe put it behind her ear, you know, like this, or in her hair. Oh yeah, what are we going to do with those flowers? As it is, she has this sort of flower pattern on her hair, which makes her hair look like some kind of scarf. I think I'm going to make actual little plants or leaves or something grow through her hair, sort of like from her brain through her hair. I don't know, is that creepy? I think it's going to be a bit more realistic, nicer looking than what this is. A note on the style. Back in these days, I was trying to come up with some sort of kind of like painting style in Illustrator or like watercolor, and it took me about 5 years to figure it out. And I know how to do it now, but it's very time consuming and it slows down the program a lot. I'm not sure I want to go for that right now, because also currently I'm kind of trying to make my Illustrator drawings look more sort of like made with pencil or crayon, because I'm into that sort of texture right now. So I'm probably going to be leaning more towards that. So there won't be so much of that shading that's going on in there. Yeah, we'll see. But I would like some rougher texture to it. Those are the things that come to mind right now that I'm looking at her. Maybe as I work something else will come up, I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, I think I feel ready to start sketching, so let's get into that then. again. So this sketching experience reminded me why I don't do more drawing videos. It's because making a proper setup where you can see what I'm drawing and where I'm comfortable drawing is really hard for me, and I haven't really mastered it yet. So I did a few sketches, but the way I was sitting, it was kind of hard to see what I was doing, so they didn't go very well. So I made a couple more off camera, and I'm going to use one of these. I'm going to now scan it, aka take a picture of it, because I don't have a scanner at home. Put it in Adobe Illustrator and trace it with the pen tool, and then we take it from there. So this stage is all about tracing and outlining. Since I work with the mouse, it's hard to actually draw directly on the computer. But when I have my sketch already made in paper, it's very easy to trace it with the pen tool and have it look nice. The stage is, however, a little bit boring, both to make and to watch, which is why I cut off some of it and sped up the rest, so you don't have to sit through the whole thing. Okay, now that the tracing is done, I'm going to organize the shapes in a way that it makes sense when you look at them. I'm going to fill the shapes and arrange them so they overlap in a proper way. You'll see what I mean. And now I just fill the closed shapes with white fill so that I can organize them and push back what needs to be behind and bring forward what needs to be in front, like her arm or the side of her hair. And now it's time for the colors. I have my color scheme and I'm just going to apply it and see what happens. So the main color has already been agreed upon. This is the lavender color, and I need to create a color palette around it, which is kind of what I'm doing. I don't plan on using all of those colors. They're just some that I think look nice together, and I'll try to narrow it down to 2 or 3 main colors. I also bring out the past drawing so I can sort of reference it, even though the two look pretty different, I think. I'm also starting to give the shapes some color to see how they look, how they're interacting. As I've said before, I wanted the hair to be in this main lavender color, and for her skin I went with something a bit more pinkish that still matches the lavender, but it's not too alien as the original probably is. At this point, I'm starting to think that I'm not too happy about how this is going. I think the leaves in her hair look a bit abstract, while the rest is a bit more grounded in reality, let's say. And I wanted to have plants sort of growing out of her hair or through her hair, which is why I went back and sketched some dandelions. I actually sketched a bunch of different plants, but I just settled on the dandelions. So I'm doing the tracing thing again, and then the filling the shapes with color. Now that I have a bit of a little bouquet, or what you want to call it, I removed the leaves and swapped that on their place. I also decided to move the brush in her hand, so it's a bit more closer to the original, and I think kind of makes a bit of sense. I think it's starting to look like an artist self-portrait or something. I've even had someone comment that she looked like me. I don't know, that there might be something since I use myself as a model when I draw, so there might be something unintentional there. But yeah, I think that it's working better with these plants than it was with the leaf. I also felt like the green of the leaves were standing out too much and not really tying together with anything. So in this case, the dandelions are going to be the same lavender purplish colors so that the whole scheme sort of belongs together a little more. And now I think I'm kind of satisfied finally with the setup. I think that the pose is looking good, the mood is good, things sort of work together, so I'm starting on the shading. I'm using a brush that I made myself, a textured brush that I used to shade her hair. I also use clipping masks to mask the textures so that they only show where I want them to show. Also, the rest of the lines I've also given pencil texture. I use some brushes that are part of Illustrator, although I've tweaked them a little bit to work better for what I'm using them for. I also use some brushes that I've made myself. Oh, you know, right now I'm into pencil texture and generally speaking texture, so that's what you see me do. I like this sort of raid effect, or I don't know what to call it. I also add this kind of like spotter brush that I've also made myself just for some extra texture and dimension. Playing with opacity, with blending modes, anything that will make things sort of stick together and blend together properly. I still felt like I need a different color to contrast a little bit the purple palette, and that just had to be yellow because it's a complementary color and it just works really good with lavender. I use blending mode soft light, I believe, or overlay, one of those two. And I think I also lowered the opacity because I want to make it look like soft sunshine, sunlight on her skin and hair. I think it's giving a nice glow to the illustration. I've also felt like the yellow were standing too much alone, only in the sunlit areas, so I decided to give the dandelions a bit of yellow color because, well, they're yellow in real life anyway. This way the yellow is not too isolated, it ties in with something else, creates nice balance and a bit of interest. And at this stage it's all about little tweaks and adjusting stroke thicknesses and flow, just little things to see what works best until you find out. So I was feeling like I'm pretty much done, but still something wasn't entirely working for me. I felt like the whole thing is kind of too light, and when you look at it from afar or in a smaller scale, it just blended together. There was just no contrast. I think it's because all of the colors, they are too close together. They're mostly on the brighter side. There is not much of a light and dark contrast colors, and that's not really good for the overall illustration. So what I decided to do is to make her hair actually much darker shade of purple, and to make her skin have that lavender color that had to be used in the illustration to fulfill the challenge. And I think that this made it work way better. The previous version, it was softer and it could still work, but I think that this version with the stronger contrast is just more finished and polished. Quite a big difference, I think. Let me know which one do you like better and what do you think about my progress or regress, however you want to see it, in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And yeah, that's it. I think it's a nice update of the original illustration. I'm enjoying it okay. Has the lavender theme in it, and I hope you enjoyed following my process. If you want to draw with me and my friends, follow us on Instagram to see the next theme, which should come up soon this week, next week, depending when I post this. And yeah, draw with us. Use the hashtag #WeDrawMoreTogether. Tag us so we can see it, and let's draw more together. Whether you join us or not, I still hope to see you next week, and until then, have fun.